Hello everyone, I thought I'd do an update of my garden. It's the 28th of June. You can see my garden is getting greener and greener, looking more like a jungle. And I thought I'd do a tour and show you how everything is growing in my packed up little garden. So, starting just over here, here are all the mint bushes, which were always here when we moved into the house. Some tree spinach, which I got from my sister's garden. And then I planted this garlic just to separate this whole area from the rest of the garden. And in this area, the main thing that I've been growing is our chili plants, and there's rows of threes. You can see there's 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, and this row carries on all the way here. Amongst all of this, I've had lots of random plants growing. Now, I didn't plant or sow any of these, to be honest. So this is the red amaranth plant, which just grew randomly. So we have been taking the plants out and eating them, so I will be taking these out. And here are some chard plants which grew from just self-seeded in my garden, so nice bit of permaculture going. On the background you can see all the beans are growing. Some of them are at the top of the trellis, and here in some pots I have some more chili plants. There's a mixture of chili plants that are the Thai chilies and also Naga chilies. This one, poor thing, just isn't growing at all, unfortunately. Here you can see loads of chilies already grown in this one. And I'm keeping one little red one just for the seeds. Dorset Naga. I've labelled it as a Dorset Naga, doesn't look like it. Here are the gourd plants. So the gourds are growing now. This one's almost 2 feet long, and there's another one growing over here. It's about 1 foot long. So they created a nice shade under the canopy, and I'm very pleased with the gourd so far, having grown so big already in June. So this gourd will easily grow another 1 foot or so. So it's a waiting game. This is a plum tomato from Italy, which I planted. I've only got 2 of those, one and another one there. And in this area, I planted some cucumber plants. You can see it's climbing up. And here you go. There's a baby cucumber melon. Should be ready soon. Hanging tomatoes. These need water. These are small pots. You can see the pot is actually, the pot's actually quite small, and that's the problem with pots, especially hanging pots. You do need to water them quite often. In this area we had dwarf beans growing, and we've had 2 dishes already from it, and I picked them all the other day, and I picked them all early because I mean the beans were ready, plus I planted those plants so that I could grow them and eat them before this whole area falls under the shade of this gourd plant. And so it worked. So next year I'll be doing the same thing. I'll probably grow some more dwarf beans in this area, and which I can have before I start planting other things here. Now I have planted a few things in here. You can see this is a celery plant. This is some kind of cabbage, chard, and so all of these I'm hoping they'll be shade tolerant and they'll be fine. Beans already grown on this plant, and we picked a few from over here. So in the back of the greenhouse, even that area is used. This is a chard plant which I've left, so it's flowering now, and these flowers will eventually fly across the garden and we'll get loads of baby chard plants. Inside the greenhouse are mainly my chili plants. So these are ones that I'm trying for the first time. They are actually doing pretty well. The plants are pretty healthy inside the greenhouse. The leaves are looking pretty healthy, and the plants just have not suffered from the direct sunlight. Whereas the ones out in the ground in the garden, in the direct sunlight, a lot of the leaves start to burn up and curl up, and I don't know why that happened. Despite chilies being from a warm climate. So this is a cucumber plant, by the way, and this cucumber plant, I've only got 2 here, You can see there's lots and lots of flowers. However, disappointingly, no cucumbers yet. And in fact, look how big this plant is. Getting to the top of the greenhouse, and they are the same age as these here. These leaves, however, they're more greener, but not as many flowers as the one inside the greenhouse. So here, there's more chili plants. This one's, this is cherry bomb. There you go. They grow into balls. That one's already grown. So 3 cherry bomb plants here. There's more chili plants there, here, and here. These are growing really nicely, nice and bushy. And you can see there's already chili growing here. So they turn purple eventually. And there you go, look at this, there's a turnip growing. This is called Fuchsia, so it's a type of green. Orientals call it a type of spinach. Celery plants, more celery plants. I just had loads of extra plants which I had to place somewhere, and I'm hoping that these will survive the winter. More celery plants here. And in this area, just at the back, that trellis here, you can see the bean plants are growing, so they're climbing up here, and over here are the cucumber plants. In this area, every year normally we've grown taro, and I have planted a few taro bulbs, and here's one growing here, here's a couple more just there, and all of these plants here are mainly winter vegetables. I'm hoping, because this area is quite shaded, that they won't bolt, and we'll see how they grow. So, no, she wants some food. So, oh, and by the way, this is a squash plant which I've planted in a box in my garden, and my neighbour has allowed me to let the plant climb her apple tree. And you can see here, there's a little pumpkin or a squash growing, and it's all over that apple tree. And a couple of years ago we did have a squash growing hanging on this apple tree, so my neighbour asked me to just let my plant just climb her apple tree, which is great. We live really well with our neighbours. And see, just over there in that bush there, this is all raspberries, and I've been picking some. So I picked some the other day. My neighbour invites me over to just with a bowl to collect all these raspberries, so it's amazing. So in the middle here, these are buckets of rubbish. So one I keep for green waste across the garden, and one I just keep for normal waste. My kids throw their own stuff in. So this is a pot of red amaranth, which I didn't actually sow. And so what I did was, in here I potted taro bulbs, and the soil that I put on, I had no idea the soil had so much red amaranth seeds, and this is what's happened. So again, another example of permaculture. So we'll be eating all these leaves, and you can see the taro is growing. Here's a taro bulb, and look at that. So that will eventually, the idea was to start them here in the sun and then move the bulbs into the area where I normally grow the taros. Here is coriander. They've started to bolt. They've been here for a while, so it's a good seed, and we haven't had to buy coriander for a month or so. More celery. This is just a random pot of random things. You have coriander, you have a tomato plant. This is mustard, and more mustard. Look, this is coriander, which has turned to seed. And in time, this will dry up, and then you can use those seeds. This is an example of mustard seeds. And then you've got more red amaranth as well in this pot. Pretty much everything in here is edible. Even this. I don't know the name of this weed, but some people do eat these. So these are apparently edible. So permaculture, guys, in a little city garden. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of my little city garden. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, please put them through in the comment section. I promise to reply to all comments or questions. if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Take care, guys. See you soon.